Bonjour everyone, and welcome if this is your first time. I am your humble French tarot reader Marine, and today's reading is gonna be about what is making sense now that didn't before. I really felt called to create a reading focused on the truth being revealed, on being able to look back and finally understand things, for the dots to finally connect and hopefully bring you some clarity and insight regarding whatever you're going through right now. This is really gonna help you kind of shed a light on what you're finally understanding, potentially why it wasn't clear before, how this new clarity that you're gaining is going to change things, and we'll finally look at how you can integrate this new understanding. So this reading is really about clarity, insight, about looking back and realizing why certain things happen, potentially understanding why you went through something or understanding your situation better. I felt really inspired by this reading because I kept pulling the King of Swords when I was asking Spirit what I should do a reading on for my community. And the King of Swords is very much all about gaining clarity, perspective, understanding, making sense of things potentially weren't clear before. So he's gonna be our muse, if I can say that, for this reading. In front of you, you can see 3 different cards and 3 different crystals. Every single pile is going to contain a different message, and all you need to do is intuitively choose the pile that is calling out to you the most, as this is where your reading will be. In a moment, I will help you choose your pile. You don't have to force anything, just simply let yourself be led to the pile that is calling to you. And then in the description box, you will find timestamps that can take you straight to your reading. And of course, if this reading brings you anything of value, I encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Those are all free ways to support my work, but it really makes a huge difference. For today's reading, I have 3 different allies, we're gonna call them, and 3 different crystals. So for my pile number 1, you can choose thanks to this horse ally. We're in a horse year according to Chinese astrology. Maybe you have a connection to this animal, maybe you're seeing these animals a lot lately, maybe you're called by the colors, whatever it may be. This particular ally is linked to the earth, so that's also something to note. And for this pile, the crystal associated is a piece of jade. So if the horse or this jade is calling to you at this moment in time, then your message could be in pile number 1. For my pile number 2, the ally that showed up is the frog. So maybe you're feeling really called by frog spirit at this moment in time. Maybe you feel called by blues, by water, or the eye symbolism, as there's a lot of eyes here. That might be something that's calling to you. If so, pile 2 might be for you. And the crystal associated for my pile number 2 is an opal. Finally, for my pile number 3, the ally that showed up is the eagle spirit. The eagle is linked to air, and so maybe the eagle has a significance for you right now. Maybe it's those colors, feathers. If so, maybe pile number 3 is the one for you. So for my pile number 3 is a red jasper. If you need a bit more time to choose the pile that is calling out to you the most, then I invite you to pause the video. You can take some deep breaths, maybe release any tension you're holding in your body, relax your shoulders, and clench your jaws. And once you're ready, I'll see you in your reading, starting now. Okay, my pile number 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose the horse card, or if you chose the jade crystal, then this is going to be the reading for you. And as I mentioned in the intro, today's reading is all about gaining clarity. We are taking inspiration from the King of Swords, so I've designed a reading around what is making sense now that didn't before. And so to start, I'm going to use this beautiful, very potent oracle deck that joined my collection recently. It's this Blue Bones Oracle, and we are going to look at what you're finally understanding. This is a truth, a realization, or an insight that's finally becoming clear for you. So let's see, for my pile number 1, what are you finally understanding? Let's see, I'll pull a couple of cards, 2 to 3. So we have indefinable hunger. Okay. We have the fog right in the middle, which makes sense. This is probably why you clicked on this reading. Maybe you've been feeling a little bit confused and like you couldn't quite see clearly, so that makes sense. And the last card that jumped up was Sight to Behold. It's almost like for my pile number 1, I'm feeling something regarding a certain spiritual awakening. Like I think potentially, okay, for my pile number 1, I have a feeling that maybe recently you were feeling like you were confused, lacking clarity, and felt very lost. But whilst you were in the maze and unable to find your way out, this was actually leading you to a certain spiritual awakening and a reigniting of your spirituality, of your faith, and of your connection to the universe, God, spirit, your higher self, your guides, whatever you guys believe in, right, in terms of what you put your faith in. And I'm not talking about religion here, because it could be just you thinking about your higher self, right, and having faith in yourself. But I'm hearing potentially here there was a lack of faith or a crisis of faith, and you guys right now are finally understanding that this crisis of faith was actually leading you to certain realization that brought you back to your spirituality, brought you back to your values, brought you back to what you truly believe in. It's almost like you had to get completely lost and feeling like you didn't know what to put your faith in order to find actually what was your North Star. So I really see that for a lot of my pile number 1, you're reconnecting with your spirituality right now. You're reconnecting with certain values, with certain beliefs, even certain practices. I'm seeing some of you reconnecting or connecting to certain spirituality practices. Maybe some people are deciding to get back into pulling the cards, and that's your way to connect with the universe, the great web of life. For some of you, it might be that you are spending more time outside because nature is your church, and that's how you connect to the universe. For some of you, maybe you're reconnecting to certain meditation practices, yoga, breathing exercises that really help you again to connect to your higher self, expand your consciousness. I see that I've been hearing some people right now have been in the process of either researching things like witchcraft practices or druidcraft, things like that, or that you're reconnecting with those kinds of spiritual practices. I really feel like there's a renewal of your spiritual practice, and that's what you're finally understanding, my pile number 1. It's that you had to get lost to remember that the world was worth living, that there's help around you, that you have the ability to connect to higher powers that can help you. For some of you, maybe you even had lost or we're not connecting to your ancestors or your guides, your beloved dead, but right now you're in the process of committing to that practice, honoring the people who have passed, honoring your ancestors. Maybe you are building altars, maybe you're giving offerings. Some of you might be connecting to certain deities. I'm hearing Persephone for my pile number 1 is coming through, so do with that what you may. Maybe that's a little confirmation for some of you. With these 3 cards, I'm really hearing that the feeling of loss or of confusion that you were feeling, this loss of faith, it's like you had to find yourself in the dark to remember to look up at the stars. And then because you don't see the stars in bright daylight, right? And I know this sounds very cheesy, but it's such a true, that's what the universe, that's what spirit is giving me right now. So go with me in terms of the metaphor I'm getting right now. You guys had to be put in the night, in like the dark night of the soul, in order to see the stars. Because in bright daylight, you don't see the stars. You have to be in complete darkness in order to actually notice how beautiful the sky is, and notice that there are still beautiful stars. And the stars can represent your spirituality, your faith, your connection to yourself. Again, whatever you guys, nurture and practice spirit in terms of like connecting to something larger than you. But I really feel like for my pile number 1, and you can let me know in the comments, what you're finally understanding is that this moment where you were lost and in the in the fog and in the maze. It was to bring you back to your core essence, to bring you back to your faith, to bring you back to practices and beliefs and values that nurture you, that empower you, and that help expand your consciousness. Wow, beautiful. And how powerful. I love that for you guys. Okay, that's really incredible. Let's continue. So why was it unclear before? Was there an emotional block, a belief, a timing issues that delayed this understanding? Let's see. Why were things unclear before? The Tower. Okay. And strength. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because with the Tower and strength, I can see that there was potentially a lot of chaos in my pile number one's life. You might have gone through, again, a certain dark night of the soul, right? And when you're in the midst of the rug being pulled from under your feet, it can be hard to find the strength and the connection within to grab onto your faith, your spirituality, and practices that can really help you soothe yourself, heal, connect. Sometimes it's very difficult, right? When we're in the midst of chaos, to continue to have faith, because especially if you guys have been dealing with something quite difficult and traumatic or stressful, painful, whatever it may be, we can, as human beings, feel like, why is this happening to me, right? And suddenly we lose our footing. And when we lose our footing, we lose our faith as well. We're like, what did I do to deserve this, right? I didn't deserve to go through this. I didn't deserve to go through this painful event or this painful relationship or this very difficult time in my life. I don't understand why, what was the point of all this pain? And so now I think truly, and again, you can let me know in the comments if that resonates, but I feel like a lot of you have gained wisdom that this Tower moment, this dark night of the soul you guys have faced in the past. It was not just a dark night of the soul, but it was an awakening. And in that, it's leading you to new beliefs, new values, new practices, new ways to look at life, new outlooks, new perspectives that are helping you see the stars that maybe you had forgotten to look up, right? So there's immense strength and resilience in my pile number one, but there's also a huge connection to your intuition and to your consciousness. And I see this, there's a big spirituality theme for my pile number one. Let's continue. How is this new clarity changing things? So in your guys' cases, it's like this spiritual awakening or this reconnection to your faith, your spirituality, your higher self, your consciousness. Again, this is open for everyone. So how is this new clarity changing things for you? Let's see. How is this new clarity changing things for you? We have wow, I love that. 10 of Coins and Wheel of Fortune. There's a complete new outlook on life with the Wheel of Fortune. It's really this idea that thanks to this spiritual awakening, thanks to this dark night of the soul, that's reawakened your spirituality or given you this spiritual awakening. Or for some of you, I'm hearing it's a spiritual awakening, and for some of you, it's a reconnection to your faith, your spirituality, you're deepening your bond and your connection to the great web of life. You are feeling even more connected to the earth, even more connected to your guides, even more connected to your intuition, to your deities, to your higher self, to spirit, to source, right? This new clarity is also having a huge impact in your day-to-day life. Because when you have the 10 of Coins and the Wheel of Fortune, there's here a really powerful alignment of, through your connection to your spirituality, to your faith, to what your heart is leading you to believe in, will have an impact on you being able to call in more abundance into your life, more safety and more security. With the 10 of Coins and the Wheel of Fortune, this new outlook, this renewal of faith, this ability to look up and see the stars in your life again, it's allowing you to feel a lot more lucky. Suddenly you're going from, why did this happen to me, to I'm actually so lucky because now I've learned so much. I feel wiser. I feel more aligned. I feel more like myself. I've reconnected to myself. I feel in my power. I've discovered a certain resilience. I've discovered, maybe for some of you, it's even certain gifts that you have. You've reconnected to your power, right? So with the Wheel of Fortune, there's a change of luck here. And also with the 10 of coins, an ability to call in more abundance in your life and to feel more grounded and safe. Because once you've had the carpet pulled from under your feet, you've been maybe like this cat falling, from a building, then realized you landed on your feet, that allowed, and realized not only that, but you, through this falling of the metaphorical cliff, it allowed you to reconnect to certain values, certain practices, certain beliefs. And those beliefs now are actually helping you to feel even more grounded than before, more safe, more secure, more abundant. And for some of you, it might even be like having actual change in your day-to-day life. Like some of you might even change career, I'm hearing, because of this dark night of the soul. You realize, you know what, I don't want to do this job anymore. I'm going to change. I feel like this is not aligned with me anymore. For some of you, it's about changing your day-to-day life. You're completely reholding your life and being like, this is not how I want to lead my life anymore. It does not feel aligned. I want to do this instead of that. I want to lead a life that feels aligned with my beliefs, with my values, with my spirituality, with my faith, whatever it may be. There's really here an impact in the day-to-day that is coming from this awakening or this reawakening, and for my pile number 1, and that's really beautiful. So things are changing in your day-to-day, in your practical life. Like I could really see for some of you a change in jobs, a change in routines, a change in connections that you nurture, a change in even I'm hearing for some people it's like the kind of foods you eat, or the music you listen to, or the books you're consuming. This spiritual awakening is really having an impact in your day-to-day for the better. It's helping you feel more abundant, more secure, and more grounded, and that's really beautiful. We are gonna wrap things up and see what's the next step, right, in terms of embodying this understanding. How can you integrate this understanding into your life? If there's any advice around how to integrate, how to embody this clarity without having to force any action. Let's see. What do we have? Page of Wands. Follow your passion, my pile number 1. The way to integrate this new awakening, this spiritual practice you're reconnecting with, these values, this faith, this connection to the great web of life, whatever it is, this connection to your ancestors, your guides, your deities, these new paths you might be exploring. The way to integrate this is to be curious, to follow your passion, and to have fun with the Page of Wands. I love that so much. And of course, because you picked the horse, I would say pay attention to the way horse spirit is showing in your life right now. Maybe it's about connecting to that animal, maybe you are seeing it in dreams, maybe you're seeing it in real life. There's a way that the horse might be quite important in your life right now, and that's really beautiful. And like I said, we are in the horse year in like Chinese astrology, so that's quite potent. Okay, we're gonna wrap things up with a little affirmation / message of guidance. It's a new little oracle deck I got again. It's called Cosmic Comfort. It's really cute. If I can hold it the right way up, there you go. So we're gonna see. Last message from your guides. What do we have regarding this? Ancestral joy. Oh my God, you guys. There you go. Yeah, I said for some of you, you're really in the process of reconnecting with your ancestors, beloved dead. I love that. Okay. You're the energetic accumulation of all your ancestors' greatest hopes, desires, and dreams. Imagine that your healed ancestors are joyous with every breath that fills your lungs, every movement of your body, and every new experience that makes you feel more alive. You are a living miracle to them. Feel their protective energy. Channel their collective wisdom and receive their blessings. Your joy is their joy. What moves you to aliveness is what once moved through their blood and bones. Acknowledge them for all they have done to bring you here this present moment. So if you guys have been really in the process of connecting or reconnecting with your ancestors, whether that's people from your family, whether that's ancestors of the land, whether that's crone energy, the grandmother energy, right? Maybe it's through, again, certain deity work, whatever it is. Maybe it's connecting through ancestors, again, of the land, through certain animals, certain spirits, certain trees. There's a very loving, supportive, ancestral crone grandmother kind of energy coming from my pile number 1. So if you've been working with that, that's a beautiful confirmation. Okay, my pile number 1, that's what I'm seeing for you. What a beautiful reading. I did not expect this reading to go so deep, but honestly, it was an honor to read the cards for you today. So I really hope it spoke to you. Let me know in the comments. As always, if you want to support my work, you can like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. It's all free, but it makes a huge difference. I want to thank you so much for being here. And until next time, I'm sending you so much good vibes and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye! Okay, my pile number 2, welcome to your reading. If you chose the frog spirit, the frog ally, or if you chose this little opal, then this is gonna be the reading for you. As I mentioned in the intro, today's reading is all about what is making sense now that didn't before. We're looking at clarity, what you're finally understanding, and in order to do that, I want to start with this beautiful, very special oracle deck I've been working with in my personal practice, and I really wanted to share it with you guys. It's this Blue Bones oracle. Again, I'll put all the name in the description box as to, so if you're curious. But we're gonna start by looking at what is it that you're finally understanding. This is a truth, a realization, an insight that is finally becoming clear. So what is it that my pile number 2 is finally understanding? What are you guys understanding? I think we have a jumper. You and I will always be back then. Oh, how beautiful. We'll pull 2 to 3 cards. What is my pile number 2 finally understanding? Worship at your altar. Okay. And seen. Oof. Okay. This is about, for my pile number 2, a certain relationship, I think, that we're talking about. I'm hearing mostly potentially a romantic relationship. Also, for some of you, it could be a friendship, but I'm really hearing for the majority, it's a romantic relationship. And you guys have been reflecting on this particular relationship lately, potentially trying to understand why it didn't work out, or why if it's a relationship that finished, that was in your past, or if it's your current relationship, it's like trying to understand why there's certain conflict, why there's been certain conflicts or misunderstanding, or trying to understand why a person is acting this way. I really feel like for my pile number 2, the confusion and the maze you've been finding yourself in, and that you finally are understanding and making sense of now, is relating a connection that you have or had, a relationship, a connection, someone that was or is important to your heart. And this realization that you guys are having now, what is finally making sense, the truth is that no matter what's gone on in this relationship, there was still love there. And if this is a relationship that you're still in, no matter how much conflict there might be, there is still love there. I really see that you guys are understanding. And I think, honestly, for the majority of you, it's regarding a relationship that has finished, that was in the past, and maybe you've been wondering why it finished, like why, for some of you, I'm hearing, I really thought I was gonna build my life with this person. I thought it was my person. And I'm hearing that you guys now are finally understanding that whilst maybe you were not meant to be together forever, one, there was still love there. It doesn't mean that the relationship failed. It doesn't mean that the relationship wasn't precious. It doesn't mean that there was something very beautiful and something to cherish there. But also, you're gaining perspective and clarity on this particular relationship no longer hurting you. I think my pile number 2 is able to look at the beauty and the good moments and the joy that you felt with this person, and no longer feeling the kind of like hurt or heartbreak maybe you were feeling when you used to think of that person. It's like you finally passed a certain kind of turning point where instead of being in the hurt, in the pain, in the heartbreak, in the disappointment, you're able to now be like, well, you know what? We had some beautiful moments, and I'm grateful for this person, for the moments we shared, for what they taught me, for the love we had. Maybe things didn't work out the way I wanted to. Maybe they ended up being not the person I was hoping they would be. Maybe they even hurt me in the end. But no matter what, we shared something special, and I'm able to be grateful for that. I'm hearing that instead of being in the heartbreak or the pain, whether that's a past relationship or even the relationship you're having now, but maybe that is conflictual and where you're having issues right now, you're gaining clarity and understanding that there's still something beautiful to cherish throughout all of this. And the fact that you are able to look at this connection and think, when two people connect, no matter how it finishes, no matter how it ends, right? When if two people have been to connect and see each other and really love each other, even if it was just for a moment, that is incredibly special and something to celebrate. So my pile number 2 really has been able to turn a new perspective on this connection and to no longer hold resentment or disappointment or pain or heartbreak or regret, right? But actually to be thankful to the universe for putting that person on your path. Even if they ended up hurting you or even if things have been hard, you're now able to look at things and be like, you know what, no matter what happened, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful you were put on my path. I'm grateful for the lesson. I'm grateful you saw me and you loved me. And I'm grateful I felt love at this moment in time. So that's really, really beautiful. I love that for you guys. And let's continue the reading. Okay. Why was it unclear before? We're gonna see why was things unclear before. Was it an emotional block, a belief, a timing issues that delayed understanding? Let's see. Why were things unclear before? 5 of Swords. Yeah, because there was conflict, because there was a lot of arguments, because maybe when you are like, fighting with a person in conflicts, disagreements, arguments, pain, it's hard to be like, oh, I'm really grateful for the moments we share together, because you're deep in the pain, deep in the hurt, deep in the conflict. So of course, it's gonna be hard to gain clarity. Hangman. You also needed time. For some of you, you needed time to process. Maybe this was a very painful heartbreak, right? It might have been someone you genuinely thought you were going to spend your life with. For some of you, I'm even hearing maybe you have a child together, so you were building a family together. There was this this is not just my person, but it's also my family, right? And so you needed time to process, time to heal. But really now, because I feel like time has passed, you've gained clarity, conflicts are being resolved. Maybe this person is no longer even in your life. You've had time to heal and heal your heart, mend your heart. Now you're able to be grateful for what you lived without holding to resentment. And that's so wise and beautiful, right? Because it's so hard, very hard to be grateful to when you've had a beautiful relationship, but that ends badly or that ends in hurt. It can be extremely hard to hold on to the good parts and still find things to be grateful about. And yet I feel like you guys have reached that stage now, which is very, very wise. So why was it unclear before? Because there was a lot of conflict, because you needed time to heal, and that's totally understandable. Okay, how is this new clarity changing things? Let's see. How is this new clarity changing things? Let's have a look. Wow, look how beautiful. The sun. Well, there's a lot more joy in your life now. There's a lot more happiness. You're able to look at the glass half full. You're able to look at, again, the beautiful moments, the lessons that this person has brought into your life, this relationship, this connection has brought into your life, without seeing just the pain and the resentment and the regret. There's also a way of feeling like, you know what, I'm kind of glad things didn't work out for those of you for whom it's about a relationship that ended. I'm hearing you're now glad it finished. You're like at this stage where you're like, you know what, I understand we were not meant to be. I'm actually relieved I didn't stay with this person. Maybe you're even in a new relationship that feels more nourishing, that feels more aligned. Maybe you found a lot of joy being on your own, being single, feeling good in yourself. There's really here an ability to summon more joy in your life, more happiness. And I love that for you guys so much. How is this new clarity changing things? Let's pull another card. What is shifting internally or externally because of this new insight that you have? Coins. We just had that with my other pile. Okay, it's for you guys, this shift in perspective regarding a certain connection you had or have, no longer feeling pain or hurt, but actually looking at what it brought you that's been positive, and looking at the love and being grateful for that, for having lived this love, for having been loved, right? For having been seen. There's also, now that you're able to let go of the hurt, the resentment, there's a sense of safety and security of like, I feel a lot more secure in myself. I feel a lot more abundant in myself, in my life. For some of you, maybe this relationship, whilst I feel like it had a lot of emotions and feelings. There might have been a lot of passion, a lot of love. I think for a lot of you that I'm talking to, this relationship, it felt grand and like truly there was big love there. There also was a lot of chaos, I'm hearing, and instability, and it just was painful. So also, it's like the people who love you the most can also hurt you the most, I'm hearing. And so you might have been feeling like, whilst you had some amazing moments that you're so grateful you had, there was also so many moments where you felt like you couldn't really relax or settle down because you didn't know how this relationship was going, and you felt like it was such a big, and I'm hearing like, whilst it might have been such a big part of your life, it also potentially at some point was feeling like you couldn't rely on that relationship to be safe and stable. And so that was creating a lot of upheaval. Now that you're able to move past that and you've healed that and you've moved on, there's also a lot of stability, of safety, of feeling more grounded, of being like, I don't have to put my happiness in the hands of someone else anymore. And that feels really good. Not having to count on someone else to be happy, not having to worry about someone else's happiness or how they're going to be today, or how is our relationship going to be today. Not letting that dictate your happiness and your well-being, but instead focusing on your own well-being, on your own joy. I think that's also been an incredible insight, and I really truly feel my pile number 2 is a lot happier now, or at least you're in the process of becoming a lot happier now. And that's the insight, that's the new clarity, and that's actually really, really beautiful. Okay, how can you integrate this understanding? This is like a gentle next step you can take to integrate. We have the 4 of coins. Beautiful. I see this as cherishing the moments that you shared, cherishing the beautiful memories, cherishing the good parts, but also protecting your heart. You can be grateful that there was love there. You can be grateful for the beautiful moments, but you can also be very aware that potentially this person was not right for you, as now you're really determined to put yourself first. 2 things can be contrary and true at once. We can know someone hurt us and know they're not good for us, and know that we are going to put ourselves first and no longer have attachment to that person, but we can still be grateful for the moments we shared, for the love we felt, but with detachment. And I really feel like my pile number 2 is now detached from that situation, from that connection. You can take just the good and leave the bad behind and be like, this is no longer affecting me. It's no longer rocking my core. I'm safe and grounded in myself. I'm strong within myself, and I am not letting this connection, this relationship, this person dictating my well-being. Right? How beautiful. Oh my God, you guys. Really beautiful reading so far for both of my piles. It's been quite deep. I really love that. Okay, we are gonna wrap things up with a little message from your guides. Let's see what can we get from your guides, from your higher self. And look, we have release, which is exactly, I think, what you guys have been doing, releasing the power, the hurt, releasing the power this person has over you, releasing the heartbreak, the pain, but keeping the love, the gratitude, and the wisdom that you've gained from having been in this relationship. Okay, we have release. Imagine the old stories of your past as heavy, jagged, sorry, I don't know how you say this word. Imagine the old stories of your past as heavy, jagged boulders take up space within your body. Imagine you are suspended over an abyss, anchored on both ends by strong, loving hands. As you deeply inhale into your belly, you are summoning gratitude for what the past has taught you. Oh my god, you guys, isn't this what we've just talked about? Crazy. As you exhale, you allow the past to be released out of your body. With every inhale and exhale, the heavy black boulders tumble out of your heart and stomach and guts and into the darkness below. Can you feel the new lightness of your being? Wow, you guys, this is powerful. This is the perfect summary of everything we've talked about, and it's super interesting you picked the frog because I think this can be a great ally for you right now. You know, the way they jump, they feel so light, right? And also the fact that they're both comfortable on the earth and in water. There's flexibility there. There's ability to be adaptable. I think that's also, there's a lesson there for you guys of finding new adaptability for yourself, finding new ways to live where you're much more comfortable in your own skin, I think, and that's so beautiful. Okay, and of course, pay attention the way the frog is coming in your life. Maybe you're seeing a real frog, maybe you're dreaming of a frog, maybe your friend is sending you a frog picture on Instagram, I don't know, but I feel like, you know, of course, for my Palama too, the frog can be an important ally at this moment in time. This is what I'm seeing for you guys. I really hope this reading spoke to you. If it did, don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. It's all free, but it makes a huge difference to me. So thank you for those of you who take the time to do that. Thank you for your presence. Until next time, I'm sending you so much good vibes and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye. Okay, my pile number 3, welcome to your reading. If you chose the red jasper or if you chose the eagle ally, eagle spirit, then this is gonna be the reading for you. As I mentioned in the intro to this reading, it's all about what is making sense now that didn't before. I'm gonna start using this beautiful oracle deck that has joined my practice that I've been loving so much for myself, so I wanted to share it with you. It's this Blue Bones oracle. Again, I'll leave all the name of the decks I'm using down below, but this is really powerful and I felt called to use it today for you. So we're gonna start looking at what you're finally understanding. This is a truth, a realization, an insight that is finally becoming clear for my pile number 3. What is my pile number 3 finally understanding? Unheard. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Let's see what else. What are you finally understanding, my pile number 3? The deep dark. How gorgeous. Okay, we'll pull one more. Are you finally understanding? And we have the poison. Oof, okay. I think for my pile number 3, what you're finally understanding, I'm hearing, oof, okay, this is gonna be a potent message. I'm hearing you didn't deserve what happened to you. Some of you have been berating yourself and feeling guilt or shame about something that's happened to you, or something that you've lived, an experience, whether that's, I don't know, in your career life, in your romantic life, personal life. I don't know if it was in the past, in your childhood, or if it was recent. I feel like my pile number 3 has been carrying guilt or shame around something and feeling like you deserved it almost. Feeling like this horrible thing that happened to me, maybe I called it in, maybe it was my fault, maybe I should have put better boundaries, maybe I should have not put myself in this situation, maybe I should have been more insightful, maybe I should have been listening to myself more, maybe I should have said no, maybe I should have not committed to this. Whatever it is, I think some of you have been carrying guilt or shame around an experience that you've had or a pain that you've lived through, feeling almost like it was your fault. And the realization that the universe is giving me right now is that it was not your fault. You didn't deserve this. You didn't call it in, okay? I'm going to give an example that I think will speak to a lot of people, but in the spiritual spaces, sometimes there is this very toxic discourse that says, oh, before you reincarnated, your soul asked to live certain experiences. So if you were in a upbringing that was very toxic and you had parents that were abusive to you, it's because your soul asked for it when you were reincarnating. If you are sick and ill, it's because your soul asked to live this through this experience to heal it, right? It's a very toxic mindset, I think, and it puts blame and shame on people for actually things that they're being victims to, right? It's another very real harsh example is when people suffer from something abusive and we blame the victim, like, oh well, she shouldn't have been wearing a small skirt when she went out, or they were drinking too much, so it's their fault that they were robbed or attacked or whatever, right? Putting the blame on the victim is not helpful. Putting the blame and guilt on the victim is not helpful, and yet my pile number 3 has been carrying shame and blame around something that you're finally understanding was not your fault. You're letting go of shame, you're letting go of guilt, you're letting go of this weight you've been carrying of like, maybe this was my fault, maybe I called it in, like I said, maybe I shouldn't have done that, maybe I manifested it without wanting to. You're realizing, actually, you know what, it was not my fault, I'm not guilty, I'm not responsible, this happened to me, and I don't have to carry shame or guilt around it, because I'm not responsible for what happened to me. And that can be incredibly healing. Oh my god, you guys, truly, I feel quite emotional hearing about this for you guys. You're understanding that whatever happened, you didn't deserve it, you didn't call it in, it wasn't your fault. Okay, you can let go of that, you can remove that weight on your shoulder. Beautiful. Okay, let's have a look at why was it unclear before, this realization. Whatever it is that we're talking about, whatever painful event, whatever experience you've lived through, that you're finally releasing some burdens around, why was it unclear before? Let's see. Ace of Cups. Let's pull one more. Eight of Coins jumped out. It wasn't clear before because maybe you were disconnected from your heart with the Ace of Cups, and because you were so focused on, with the Eight of Coins, I'm hearing a lot of you were focused on being the best version of yourself, that you were putting on you even like having to heal from something that happened to you. You were like potentially feeling the need to, I need to heal it, I need to be better. If I'm an aware person, if I want to be the best version of myself, I need to take responsibility for things, I need to take responsibility for my choices. And yes, that's true for some situations. For some things we definitely need to take responsibility for, but there are things that happen in our lives that are not our fault, that have nothing to do with us, that are just potentially being in a place at the bad time. Potentially some of you were trying so hard to heal and evolve and be the best version of yourself that you were putting guilt and shame around you for something that, again, wasn't not your fault, that you didn't call in, right? That was not your choice. And also there's a sense here of potentially having been disconnected from your heart with the Ace of Cups, and that's potentially why you were unable before to realize, you know what, it's not my fault. I'm going to give the example of like being ill, because that's my lived experience, so I feel like I can talk about that. When you're ill, when you live with illness, a lot of spiritual people will say, oh, you know, you chose to be ill, your soul chose to be ill because it's the path that your soul decided to walk on, so it's because you chose it, it's the path you chose, you know, this is your you've made a contract with your soul about living with illness, so it could teach you things and stuff like that. And first, when I was personally dealing with all the diagnosis and stuff, I berated myself. I felt so guilty for being ill, and I kept trying to work on myself and being like, I don't understand, what can I do to be better, because if I've called in this illness, how can I release it? And you get this heaviness, this guilt, this shame, this spiral. And then one day I realized, hold on a minute, would this person say that to a small child who has cancer? Would they go to the parents of that child and say, if your child is with cancer, it's because they chose it? Of course not. You wouldn't dare, unless you're a horrible human being, right? So why do we feel like it's okay to say it to other people? And so this realization really released me from a lot of burden and shame. I'm talking about my own experience, but of course you guys don't have to relate to that at all. But the idea of feeling shame and guilt and releasing it is what my pile number 3 is feeling. I'm just sharing you my personal experience because the universe is telling me this example might help you understand how that applies to your life, even if it's not about illness. It might be about, I don't know, the relationship you had that you stayed long in, and you were being, potentially in an abusive, toxic relationship, and couldn't get out of, and you've been feeling guilt and shame around staying in that relationship. The universe was like, it's not your fault. You did what you could. You've done your best. Stop berating yourself, right? That's the realization you're having right now. It's extremely powerful. Okay. How is this new clarity changing things? My pile number 3. What is shifting internally or externally because of this realization? Let's see. How is this new clarity changing things? The Hermit. Okay, yeah. You're much more in touch with your wisdom, and the Hangman. Wow, I love that. 2 majors. My pile number 3 is now much more in touch with their inner wisdom, inner guidance. You have reconnected with your soul. You've reconnected with yourself, and you are much more in tune with your feelings, your heart, your soul, your guidance. You don't need to ask other people's opinions. Now you don't need to put your faith in external people, ask other people's opinion, feel untethered. No, you have gone back to yourself. You're feeling much more empowered, strong within yourself. With the Hermit and the Hangman, we have a reconnection to yourself, to your consciousness, to your vision, to your perspective, and trusting in your guidance, trusting in your inner wisdom, trusting in your intuition, trusting in your insight, in your instincts, trusting in yourself. You're re-trusting yourself. You used to blame yourself, feeling guilt, and now you're like, you know what? I trust myself. I'm good. I'm worthy, and I make the right choices. I know what's good for me, and I can listen to my own guidance and feel good and empowered within myself. Oof, this is so powerful, you guys. I love it. How can you integrate this understanding? How can you embody this clarity without having to force any action? How can you integrate? 7 of Cups. I'm hearing, this is not what the 7 of Cups is, about necessarily, but today it's telling me, pay attention to your dreams, your dream space. What you're dreaming about right now is very important in helping you integrate this understanding and helping you release the guilt, the shame, and reconnecting with your confidence, your trust, and just re-trusting yourself, like we talked about. With the 7 of Cups, we have a big emphasis on your dreams, paying attention to what you dream. Maybe it's time to keep a little piece of paper by your bedside table, so when you wake up you can write your dreams quickly, or you can write it on your phone's note app. There's something here about pay attention to what you're dreaming, because I feel like a lot of you are transmuting and processing this subconsciously when you're sleeping. Your mind, your consciousness is doing the work when you're sleeping, of processing, alchemizing, and shedding layers. And of course, because you picked the eagle, pay attention to the way the eagle shows up. You might even be finding feathers, seeing an eagle in real life. Maybe you're seeing videos of eagles on social media. I don't know, there's something here important about the eagle for my pile number 3. Wow, what a very deep. All 3 piles have been extremely deep. I did not expect that, but also I was called from Spirit to film a reading inspired by the King of Swords, and I'm so glad I listened to that, because I really hope this reading will speak to you. Okay, we're gonna wrap things up, putting a little guidance message for you guys. Let's see what we have. Oof, look at that. We have rage. Ooh, you know what? Some of you might be transmuting guilt and shame into anger. And that's good. Anger is good, because you know what? Anger is active, whereas rage, Anger is active, whereas guilt and shame is passive. Transmuting guilt and shame into rage means that you can now do something with that rage. With rage, you can move forward. It's a fire. And at the time of me filming this, even though this reading is timeless, there's a lot of, we are about to enter an Aries stellium. There's a lot of fire, and it's perfect time to rage, you guys. Ooh, yeah, do it. Tap into that sacred rage. It's very alchemical, very powerful. I love that. Okay, let's see what it says. Rage is your body's way of letting you know that a boundary has been crossed. In some situation, rage is the most appropriate response and needed as a powerful creative force. Exactly. We just said powerful creative force to burn down what is broken and unjust in order to create space from the ashes of its destruction for something new to grow in its place. The soil that emerges in the aftermath of a volcanic eruption is rich with the nutrients to support new growth. Your rage can be your greatest teacher, your protector, your truth teller, your best advocate and friend. What is your rage telling you? Ooh, you guys, powerful. I love that. Very quickly, I'm getting Kalima in terms of deities, Kalima and Pele. If you know any of you like to work with goddesses, those two are coming through strongly for my pile number 3 with this last message. So maybe that's something you might like to explore and work with. Okay, what a beautiful last message for you guys. So my pile number 3, I really hope this reading resonated. Let me know in the comments if it did. If you want to help support my work, you can like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. It's all free, but it makes a huge difference. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your presence. And until my next video, I'm sending you so much good vibes and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye!